Hey, happy football Sunday. So it's Sunday night, and right now the Lions are playing the Los Angeles Rams, which I really don't care about. I'm here to talk about the Raiders game. I was looking forward to it. I was excited. I did find a place where I can actually watch the game. I came in um like the second half of the game. So I didn't get to see the first half, but I did go back, however, and watch the game, the quick game on YouTube. So I got the gist of it. Um, so the final score between the Raiders and the Chargers was 10-22. I'm gonna go through some of the stats, the possession stats. We had the Raiders dominated in the time of possession. We were equally yoked with the total drives, the total plays. We dominated the total yards. They dominated yards per play. It was they 5.9 to our 5. So yeah, they dominated. The red zone touchdowns, they had 2 to our zip. Red zone attempts, they had 4 to our 1. So now to the passing, 225 yards to their 140, 25 completions to their 17, 33 passing attempts to their 26, yards per attempt 6.8 to their 5.4. Passing touchdowns tied at 1. Rushing, they dominated. In attempts, yards gained, they dominated in every aspect of the rushing category. And turnovers, all us. Turnovers, 3 total. Fumbles, 2. Fumbles lost, 2. Interception, 1. To their zip, zip, zip. So we dominated in some categories. They dominated in others. However, they had no fumbles or no turnovers. So that was pretty much it. I noticed that our defense played really great. Nate Hobbs, Max Crosby, and Jack Jones. So did Christian Wilkinson. I think his name is. I don't know if it's Wilkinson or Wilkins, but you know what I'm talking about. So they dominated. They did give up a lot of runs, especially from J.K. J.K. was eating. He was eating. I think he got 2 touchdowns, or I think he got 2. I don't know. I don't know how many touchdowns he got, but he got 1, and he had some big runs on the defense, and of course everything broke out in a fight towards the end. Jack Jones was ejected, but it was a pretty much done deal anyway, so it really didn't matter. I'm sure he's going to get a fine. However, the play calling, Raiders Nation is up in arms about the play calling from our offensive coordinator Luke Getzey. He came over from the Chicago Bears. He was the only one that was fired off from that crew, I believe. Everybody else, they pretty much kept. They let him go because he was crap. He was trash. And today was on display. He put on display just how trashy he is. So I think he's going to be a problem, and he may cause AP to lose his coaching job. So I'm not sure who to back up, who's next in line if something were to happen with Getsy. Um, but I know it's just the first game of the season. But Raiders Nation, the complaints are crazy. Of course, they're yelling bench Minshew already, bench Minshew, but I don't really think it was his fault. The O line didn't hold up. Um, what else? Let me see. The fumbles and the interceptions didn't help at all. I'm trying to think what I saw. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because it's really late. It's like 10 o'clock here in Baltimore. So I didn't have time to make notes because I've been ripping and running all day, but I did get a chance to watch the game, the expedited game. And the I think Devontae Adams maybe had 2 or 3 receptions. He didn't even break, I don't know, maybe not even 50 yards, I don't think. He didn't score a touchdown. And it wasn't an impressive game at all. I didn't even hone in on the officiating because I was so, everybody is really scarred from the officiating from Thursday night's game. But I really wanted to focus in on the officiating throughout the league today. But I had things come up, life was life, and so I couldn't really sit still and watch any games. But I did see highlights in the Raiders game in particular. I was really interested in this game because being in Baltimore is hard for me to get to see the game, so I have to go by go off of YouTube and the Raider experts and things like that. But I did get a chance to really watch the second half. I found somebody that had it, so bless their soul, and I wasn't impressed. They let the game get away from them. Antonio Pierce made a couple of calls that were questionable, same as he did in the preseason game. The last preseason game, especially when I was there, I noticed it, and he did the same thing. I think on a 4th and 1 or something like that. 4th and 1, yeah, something like that. And I'm so sorry I'm unprepared, but I had to get on here because I said I was going to get on here and talk about the game. But I'm just mad that we took that L. But back to Antonio Pierce, his decision making is kind of questionable. Um, and that's been a trait of his. He is a defensive coach, so he's partial to defensive play, and and I I don't know whose idea it was to hire Luke Getsy, if it was well, Antonio doesn't do the hiring, so but I think Luke Getsy was defensive coordinator. He was the third one. I think they wanted the guy that's with the Commanders now, and then Cliff Kingsbury, and then they was going for the Chip Kelly, but he didn't come on board, so they settled for Getsy. But I don't know. Like I said, both. Okay, so let's get on to the matchup for next Sunday. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Oakland Raiders, my two teams, as you see, and they're both 0-1. So somebody's going to come out the victor. So one of my teams are going to be 1-1. Unless they have a tie, which I seriously doubt. And like I said, defense played hard. And nobody really stood out with the Raiders on offense. There were a couple of big plays, but nothing. Only one touchdown was scored. I know the kicker. He missed one field goal, same as Justin Tucker, and like I said, two questionable calls from Antonio Pierce was resulted in a turnover on downs, and then the fumbles and the interceptions led to field goals. So they got scores. They scored off our misfortunes, and that's like the decider of a lot of games is fumbles, and turnovers, and ball placement and ball handle. Did I say that right? Ball handlement. That's not a word, but you got to hold the ball. You got to protect the ball, and you got to score. So I'm sure Minshew is still going to be our starting QB at least for the first quarter of the season. So that's 4 weeks, and they'll see how he does. But I really hope things get better. They are coming to Baltimore. Both teams are coming off losses, so it's going to come down to whichever team is the hungriest. Both our O lines are shitty. They're crap. Um, Excuse my language, but both our O lines are crap. And I think we had two injuries. I think it was in the offense, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go back and check it out. But the game we took it to L. The let me see here, right? Stat. Jacoby Myers, 3 receptions, 61 yards. No touchdowns. The only person that scored a touchdown on the Ravens was Madison. So he scored a touchdown. That was the only touchdown of the game. Was from him. And let's see, Devontae Adams, he got 5 receptions for 59 yards. He didn't even break 60 yards. So, I'm sure he wasn't. I mean, listen, Minshew wasn't throwing. He didn't throw hospital balls, so Adams can't complain about that. At least he wasn't throwing them, to kill him or anything like that. But we could have played so much better. But like I said, especially with the Baltimore Ravens, it's our first game out. We didn't play starters. We didn't. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, didn't play starters during the preseason. So this was like an exhibition game, a glorified exhibition game for us. And same with the Baltimore Ravens. We didn't play any starters, not the main stars. Not like a couple of people on defense played, but so that was our exhibition game. So Sunday will be the day. Sunday. Hopefully, I will be at the game, and I'm going to go and do the podcast directly after the game. So I will be probably going live from the podcast studio, my first time ever. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Now, listen, I'm not into plays, and that's not my thing. I like to talk about the controversial stuff, but I'm learning more and more as I go along how to watch the game, to analyze it, and not so much as a fan. But when I'm there at the stadium, I like to watch it as a fan. So I always have my earbuds in so I can listen to the announcers while I'm watching the game, and pick up on some little tidbits that I don't really see because I get so caught up in the moment, especially with the popcorn. But yeah, so the podcast is going to be from the studio next Sunday at 5. So we're going to go live at 5 on next Sunday. I'm going to try to do some more lives and stuff like that, recordings from my home. But, work be working. And sometimes it's tired. Women, we got to be together. We just can't jump on like you guys can throw a hat on, jump on and just do your thing. We got to look a certain way. So, but yeah, so I'm disappointed in the loss. I thought we were going to pull this off, but the football gods were going their way. The football gods were going their way, and they played hard. J.K. Dobbins, shout out to him, ex-Raven. He did his thing. And let me see how many. No, I'm not even. I don't even care about that. But yeah, I'm gonna see J.K. Dobbins, 10 attempts, 135 yards. Oh, he got 1 touchdown. Damn, he got 135 yards rushing. That's a lot. Wow, Gus Edwards got 26. Okay. So yeah, but that's that. So I'm trying to think, what else do I want to say? That's about it for the Raiders. Yeah, for the Raiders. We open up at home at Allegiant Stadium to play in week 3 to play the Carolina Panthers, and they lost terribly today. So I don't know, but let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about some injuries around. There's a lot going on around the league. Let's talk about that real quick. All right, enough for the Raiders. They lost. My Ravens lost. Both my squads lost. I have 2 squads. Both my squads lost. Like I said, the Raiders, because my uncle plays, I'm going to be a forever Raider fan. The best tight end in the league, Ray Chester. Shout out, Uncle. And then, of course, I'm a Ravens fan because I live in Baltimore, and that's our team. All right. So there, it's no rule, it's no law say you can't have 2 teams because I have 2 teams. Everybody knows it. All right. So what's going on around the league? I do know Jordan Love was injured. I think it's a MCL. I'm always thinking, I don't never know the facts, but I think MCL, so he's going to be out a few weeks. And I do know they just signed Malik Willis from the Titans. So I don't know who they have. I don't know what their quarterback depth looks like. But I know they think they have 2 on standby. So I'm not sure who it's going to be. Maybe they'll snatch up Ryan Tannehill because he's out there waiting. He said he wants to be, he'll go to a team that's in competition, that can compete. He doesn't want to go to a trash team. Well, who does? But anyway, so he's going to be out. Jordan Love for a few weeks. Who else is going to be out for a few weeks? Puka Nacua has a knee injury and will not return to tonight's game. He had an injury during preseason as well. Same ankle, I believe. And I'm not sure but no, that's an ankle. This is a knee. And so I'm not sure what's going on with him. Josh Allen, he injured his hand or something, playing bully ball. Y'all want to talk about Lamar, but that guy's wild with it. He's reckless. But he says he's fine, but he got taped up and things like that. They still won. And let's see. Any more injuries? There was an incident with Tyreek Hill, but you all know about that. He was arrested. Well, he was locked up. He was handcuffed and detained, face to the ground. That kind of thing. And it's demeaning. It's demeaning. It was unnecessary. And I don't know. I think some charges are going to be filed. His manager was really pissed. And if I were him, if I were Tyreek Hill, I would press charges. Yeah, I would definitely go at him. Yeah, because it was unnecessary. So, and that's that. I'm not going to go too much into that. And also, let's see. Dak Prescott got his he signed his contract today. Yep, he signed his contract for a lot. So he is Dak Prescott he's making $1 million more than Deshaun Watson when it comes to the guaranteed money. So he's getting 240 million fully guaranteed along with the other money that he's receiving. So that's amazing. Like he did all off season, he kept his cool. He said, "Let my agent deal with it." Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase, he didn't get anything, and rightfully so. He has 2 years left in his contract, so and he still played today. T. Higgins, of course, he's on the franchise tag, and he's been practicing and all that. He didn't hold out. He went on and signed it, but his hamstring hurts. They can always do that. They still have to pay him. Still got to pay him his money. He can pull a hammy or hurt it back all year and still get his money. Smart move, young man. Very smart move. Yep. Let's see. So first round rookie QBs in their debut. So Bo Nick, he was a 12th overall pick. Bo Nix, sorry, 12th overall pick. 20. I don't have my glasses on, y'all, so excuse me. 26 completions, 42 attempts, 138 yards passing, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 35 rushing yards, 1 rush touchdown, a 47.5 passer rating. Okay. Let's see. I know Caleb Williams started today. Jaden Daniels had a solid NFL debut of the Washington Commanders, the number 2 overall pick. He had 17 out of 24 completions. 17 out of 24 attempts, 184 yards passing, 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's great. 88 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, a 93.1 passer rating. They lost. Wait a minute. Did they win? Did the Broncos win? Let me see. Yeah, the Broncos lost. Okay. And the Commanders lost. And meanwhile, at MetLife Stadium, the fans were outside burning the Daniel Jones jerseys. They were burning Daniel Jones' jerseys because he sucks. He sucks. They were blown out by the Vikings. I'm not sure the score. And so Caleb Williams, his rookie debut, he was a number 1 overall draft pick. So he landed 14 out of 29 attempts, 93 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 55.7 passing rating. But they won. I think the defense won them that game from what I saw in the highlights, because I was watching that score and it was like they had nothing, and all of a sudden, bam, they had 16. I'm like, what the hell did I miss? What happened? Then they had 24, and then so I was like, okay. So then I watched, and it was like the defense got turnovers. They were scoring. The defense was scoring. So shout out to the defense. And Caleb Williams said he don't care how they win. He don't care about stats as long as they win. His nails were painted the Bears. Well, orange with blue something. Baker Mayfield had the best week 1 in his career. He just had a great day. Yeah, he had a great. Somebody said he had a great day. He had a great day. They won. So shout out to Baker Mayfield. I'm sure he's happy there in Tampa. It's nice and warm. The team loves him. And that's all that matters, I guess, when it gets down to it. The Steelers won. They were the only one in the AFC North to win. They are on top of the North. The Ravens are at the bottom because the Ravens lost to an AFC team. The Chiefs, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Steelers lost to NFC teams. So the Steelers won, and they played Justin Fields, and it was slow. It was a slow start. It was like field goal, and then finally they broke open and they scored a couple touchdowns, I believe. I know I saw one. So shout out. No, I ain't no shout out to the Steelers. Fuck the Steelers, but they did win. And let me see what else can I share with you real quick. Yeah, well, Dak got his dough, and then they beat the Browns. So the Browns, Deshaun Watson, 7 out of 15, 36 passing yards, 1 interception, 25.7 passer rating. At halftime, they were at 20-3, and I think they ended it with, I don't know what they ended it with. I just know they lost. And David Njoku, I like him. He has an injury. I don't know what it's about. I'm going to look into it later, but I wanted to get on here real quick before it got too late. So I like Njoku, Chief Njoku. I like him. Um, and the Dolphins won. I heard Tyreek did a his touchdown celebration was a hand something there with being handcuffed or something. So that was, I don't know, imaginative. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. And Calais Campbell was involved. He was trying to diffuse the situation, but they wound up putting him in handcuffs as well. That's crazy. And what else is going on? Well, Joe Burrow lost. Yeah, Joe Burrow lost. He lost. But they say he always loses his first 2 weeks. So yeah, but he lost today. So like I said, everybody in the AFC North lost except for the Steelers. And oh my God, the damn Falcons, they lost against the Steelers. They lost to the Steelers, but Kirk, well, I'm not even go there because he's coming off of an Achilles injury. Maybe he was afraid, to get tackled or beat up by the Steelers. He didn't want to re-injure himself. But damn, they played terrible. They really did. Shout out to Gerard Mayo for his first win as the coach of the New England Patriots. And they beat the Cincinnati Bengals, which is a big deal. Since everybody makes a big deal out of the Bengals, shout out to him for beating the Bengals. And I think that's about it. Yep, that's about it. I can't really think. I'm looking now. See, I'm searching. I'm searching, and my iPad's about to die out. So yeah, I'm searching, but there's not really much else to talk about that's worth it, But it's just about the officiating for me. The officiating was terrible. It was terrible on Thursday night, and I wanted to talk about that. I had my little script all. I had everything all scripted to read this morning, but like I said, life was life, and I had to get up and make some things happen this morning that I didn't plan on. So I'm just gonna let it go. But I'm so glad that game was televised, prime time, the first game of the season, so everybody was tuned in so they could see how god awful the officiating was. And people always say officiating just that's not going to determine a game. It does. If you lose anywhere from 65 to 100 yards due to officiating, um, unnecessary, wrong officiating. Um, it matters in a game, especially when, yeah, the Ravens were maybe Ronnie Stanley or whoever else they called were lined up wrong a few times, but the Chiefs were doing it every single snap, but they never called them. That's the thing. If you go call one, you got to call for the other. That's the problem. And they made this rule because of how the Chiefs played all last year. They played that way all last year, and they may have called them like 3 times. They just let them get away with so many things. But one day somebody will get knocked out the game because especially Travis Kelce with that sneak hit on Roquan. You know what I'm saying? He snuck him, from the back. That's not right. And somebody gonna knock Kelce out the game, knock him out his old ass out the game, and just let him retire from there because it's not right. And then commentators come on the next day and act like they don't even mention the officiating. They mention everything else except for the obvious, and that's the part that pisses me off too. So yeah, the officiating is terrible. Yeah, if you're gonna make an example out of somebody, make an example out of the other team that's doing it as well. Um, and it was just a lot. That's a lot I can say about that, but I have to wait because I don't have my thoughts together. Not for that, because then I'll get pissed. I'm trying not to be upset because it's almost bedtime, so I'm trying to keep my composure. Yeah, but tomorrow night, who plays tomorrow night? I think it must be the Jets because they didn't play today, so it must be the Jets that play tomorrow. So tomorrow is gonna be great. I'm sure everybody can't wait. All the commentators and analysts, I don't even listen to all of them. I don't listen to ESPN. I don't watch none of that stuff. Because they have to it has to be an antagonist and a protagonist, so somebody's gonna be the asshole of the morning, even if it's not what they really believe. They have to do it because it's the script, and that's what I don't like. So I listen to independent news media, YouTubers. That's what I listen to. They tell you straight up. And so I know it's going to be interesting tomorrow, just to hear everybody's take. And that's it for me. Let me see if there's anything else I want to mention because I go back to work tomorrow and I'm going to be exhausted. But hold up. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. Let me see. Well, let me put out some stats real quick for Lamar. So some stats. Shout out to Lamar. So some stats. So the overall game takeaway stats for the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. So the Ravens 25 first downs more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Rushing first downs 3 times more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Third down efficiency better than the Chiefs, far better than the Chiefs. Interceptions, none. KC had one. Baltimore dominated the time of possession. Baltimore outplayed the Chiefs, same as in the AFC Championship game. The outcome was the same by 7 points. And the refereeing was the same. It was atrocious. It was egregious. It was egregious. It was just terrible. One-sided. Um, but we still lost. We lost Thursday, and we lost in the AFC Championship game, and it was just about coaching. I really want to know how the offense plans on using Derrick Henry. Are we going to adjust to to just adjust our offense so that, well, first of all, we can't do anything unless the offensive line is together. You can't use Derrick Henry with a broken down offensive line. It has to get better. Um, maybe that game was just a trial run. Like I'm just pulling shit out there in the air, but he really wasn't used, and just like the defense too. The defense didn't utilize our all pros. Like I didn't even know Kyle Hamilton was even on the field. He was that much of a non-factor. I just happened to see number 14. I said, "Oh damn, Hamilton's playing," and I was there at the bank for the watch party, but I didn't see Kyle Hamilton. He was a non-factor. So maybe Zo has to figure out how to use them, and then and from what I think I understood, he was rotating the safeties. Was he rotating the safeties? Like were they in and out of the game? Because it didn't make any sense to me. So, but that's not my forte. But the little knowledge that I do have of the defense, that just didn't make any sense to me. And while the linebackers were on, who was on Rice? Um, why is he even playing? But I think Roquan was on Rice. I don't know, somebody was on Rice, but it didn't make no sense. And then Justice Hill was blocking Chris Jones. Like what the fuck? You probably can hear me swallowing. But Justice Hill was blocking Chris Jones. And Jones was looking at him like, you know, he kept him off of Lamar. He didn't touch him. So I don't know. But, it was just a crazy game, a crazy chain of events. Um, Lamar held his own. I heard 3 analysts that dissected the game from Lamar's vantage point gave him an A+ rating. Yep, they gave him an A+ rating. They said he did an exceptional job. If he keeps playing like that, he's gonna get another MVP. But all everybody focuses on is the incompletion that he threw to Zay Flowers, which wasn't even for Zay Flowers. So, people are always trying to drag my QB. He had Lamar is the man. Let me stop rambling, y'all. I'm about to go. But if you tune into this until the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And just remember, if I don't get back to you um, before Sunday, Sunday is the game, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I will be there, and then right after the game, I'm going to go across the street to the podcast studio and shoot a podcast right from the game. So that ought to be fun. But I'm about to go. If you listen to this, can you please subscribe and like And also comment. I don't care what you write. You can cuss me out and say use a stupid heads. It's like, no, I'm messing with you. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.